and welcome to WRPB and WRPB Studios. I don't know how many times I tell people this. Always use a professional. You're foolish if you don't. It's gonna cost you 5 times more in money and 10 times more in frustration and aggravation. That's a general scenario. When you add that to the physical well-being, you can be doing yourself some serious damage. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't advocate for yourself, but always use a professional. With me is Dr. Harris Colbert.
Yes, sir.
What's the name of the company?
Gentle Chiropractic Offices Incorporated.
Okay, so I have to get this out, and then I'm going to let you talk. A chiropractor is a doctor, and some have more schooling than your regular doctors. They are doctors. Don't take them for anything less than them being a doctor. I have to get that out because I don't think people really kind of get it. So my question is, how long are you around the industry?
Well, this December will be 37 years I'm practicing in Port St. Lucie.
Oh, wow.
And before that, I did some postgraduate work in Georgia. I was an associate doctor, and then we decided to move to Port St. Lucie in 1986.
Okay, so you decided to open your own practice in 86?
Yes, I came here and I did a survey walking around asking questions of the neighborhoods. I must have gone about 500-600 homes at that time. Back then, Port St. Lucie, we had 30,000 people.
Right. We ain't like that anymore.
It's a 500,000 now, so it's grown a little bit. And my first office was on US 1 in the Fountains Plaza in Port St. Lucie. I was there for 23 years.
Wow. And
then I moved to where I am now, which is on Hillmore Drive. I'm like right behind the bank, the Seacoast Bank on US 1. I've been there for, I guess, going on 14 years now.
And there's a lot of medical stuff right around you there.
It's a much more professional environment than a strip mall.
Right. So the question becomes, why did you get into this? And the reason I ask that question is because I find it very interesting. Many chiropractors that I've interviewed over the years, because I'm doing this 29 years, got into it because either them or someone in their family needed chiropractic care that helped them.
A little bit of both. At the time I started, or before I started, I was in Gainesville, Florida, and I was going to be a veterinarian. I actually was working at the veterinary college. I was in charge of the outpatient equine barn. I worked with horses and large animals. And I was interviewed for veterinary school, which is a big deal because they only so many people get interviewed, and then even less get accepted. And the dean then, it was Dean Himes, said, "Look, we just want you to work here another year and get a little more experience." And some things went on that I got disillusioned with the process. And a very close friend of mine was going to Life College in Marietta, Georgia. And I'd go visit her once in a while. She was from Rockaway, I was from Howard Beach, Queens, and we were good friends. I actually dated her sister. And she said, "Why don't you come here and check out chiropractic college?" And I was seeing a chiropractor for a ganglion cyst on my wrist. He used to ultrasound it, and then he adjusted the wrist, and it went away. He actually popped it. That
would be like something that I have right there.
Yeah. It would get swell up and hurt for 10 days out of the month, and then go away every month.
This doesn't hurt, but it comes and goes.
It was really painful, and I entered chiropractic college. I had the credentials to do it. A lot of the people back then, and it's not disrespectful, but there were people that, like you said, they had a good experience with chiropractic. They were looking for a change. They were gym teachers. They were insurance salesmen. There were people from all backgrounds at that time would go into chiropractic college. Here I had a bachelor's degree. I was doing postgraduate work already. For veterinary college. If you can get into veterinary school, you can get anywhere.
Another industry that people don't understand how much it takes to get through that.
Oh yeah. For chiropractic college, when I did it, now I feel like a dinosaur. But when I did it, it was 14 quarters. But it was 14 quarters straight. I didn't take like summers off. I did it straight through.
Right.
And I always had good grades. I was the higher end of my class, graduated with honors. But that nobody, you go to your doctor, you don't look at how they graduated with, nobody cares. They care about, are they good at what they do? Are they personable? What are their reviews? Because everybody looks at reviews. I never thought that was important.
Well, there's a philosophy about reviews. If you have 5,000 reviews or 1,000 reviews and you have a 5.0, people don't trust it because you can't please everybody. Let's face it.
Yeah.
So a 4.7, a 4.6, a 4.8, those are perfect reviews, to tell you the truth.
And I have a 4.8.
Perfect review.
I think I'm up to about 177, 178. I haven't really. I sort of backed off on asking people from because I feel like I'm bugging them a little. I hate doing that, but you really need them. So I say, hey, look, I need some new reviews. If you're happy with what you did, just I don't tell them what to do or what to say. I just say. Sometimes people just put stars. And I said, use your words. Words are important. Stars are important, but words are important.
It's funny. You said, well, people, want to know how good you are. At this day and age, a lot of people don't have a clue because they're part of a managed care plan, and they're given a referral, and you go.
They don't have a choice at times, And I get referrals from family doctors a number of times. Sometimes it's because I'm the only guy that's on that list, but a fair number of times is people that I've been here a long time, and they're familiar with what I do. When someone comes to me and they have a family doctor, whether they're referred by the family doctor or not, I send the family doctor a complete report on what I found. I mean, I do a history, I do a full physical exam. I don't always take X-rays, but I do when I need to. I mean, you don't take it every single time. If you do a good physical exam, it'll let you know if you need X-rays.
Okay, so you bring up an interesting point. Chiropractors, on a whole, are not known to do a full physical exam. Why is that?
That's a great question. I don't understand why, because I have people that come to me, and people have been to other doctors. That's normal. They move around, and I'll do what I do, and they say, "Wow, I never had anybody do that before. Never did a physical. I actually measure range of motion. I do orthopedic and neurologic assessment. I palpate the spine." And my philosophy is, if you don't do an exam, how do you know what's wrong? You take a history and you just touch them and take an X-ray. You're not treating an X-ray. You're treating a human being, and you have to do some sort of an evaluation, physical, to know what's wrong with them. The X-ray just corroborates it.
So, one of the things that always stood in my mind is Mary. I just pick a name. That's the name I always seem to use. Goes to chiropractor. Is the plan to get Mary off your books, to get her fixed and moving on? Because it seems like a lot of chiropractors, you got to come back 3 times a week for 112 years. What's the story with that?
Well, that's a good question, because chiropractic is pretty much front-loaded in treatment. You have to realize, I get people that come to me and they have pain. I had it years ago, and it came back, and they might say, well, I had an MRI showed I had a bulging disc, whatever they come in with, or maybe they didn't. But the idea is, do they want to be out of pain, or do they want to fix the underlying issue? Because you can be out of pain with a pill. You can get out of pain with 2 or 3 or 4 chiropractic adjustments. Does that mean that you've got back your normal range of motion, that the motion between the segments is restored, that you've got the muscles working properly? So everybody wants to go from A to C. In other words, from being in pain to maybe coming in once in a while, when they feel they need it, which is not my idea of wellness care, because that's like, if you go, let's say with a dentist, you don't wait for it to hurt to go to a dentist, you go periodically. And that's what I'm trying. I want to get people from, I want to get people from hurting to maintenance, but to get from A to C, you got to get through B. And B is where they do some stretches at home. We could do it in the office too. We do stretches, we do strengthening. And it can take a week or 2 to feel better. It can take a couple of months to really get better, and then just periodically get in just to keep things healthy.
Yeah, and it's ironic because there's a correlation between that and what we do here. Someone comes on, we do their marketing, and then we put them on a maintenance plan where you don't have to market twice a week or 3 times a week or 4 times a month. Come in once a month. Let's check, make sure everything's going the way it should, keep your numbers up. Maintenance is probably one of the most important things, but you want to get people out of pain and fixed.
And that's what they come to you for, is because they're hurting, but my job to educate them on why they're hurting and the difference between being out of pain and being healthy or being improved, fixing the underlying problem. Sometimes you're not fixing it. It depends on the person. You might be managing it. Really, we have people that have chronic pain that they've been for pain management. They've had epidurals. They've even had surgery. I have a lot of people come to me that have had fusion surgeries. I have them sent to me from the surgeon because they don't want to operate on them again, and I have to figure out what can we do to help them. So we work above and below the fusions. We get them doing some stretches. We get them in periodically before things start hurting. Maybe they get some massage for soft tissue work. True pain management isn't just taking pills or injections. It's doing some stretching. It's a little bit of everything. It's a multidisciplinary
surgery, taking pills,
approach.
taking injections. That should be the last case scenario. If you can fix something without surgery, you're 100 times ahead of the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are reasons for surgery. I've sent people for surgery. You have people coming in that they're not controlling their bowel or bladder, or all of a sudden they have a progressive neuropathy. They're losing strength in their foot, these are things that have to be evaluated. But I send them to conservative neurosurgeons that I trust. That I know that they're going to look at the big picture, and then I have to trust that they're going to do the right thing. And these are people that I would send my family to, that I would go to.
Right. And but back to what I said, you want to try every option before you go to the surgery option.
Oh, absolutely.
If you can.
There's a lot between nothing and surgery. There's a lot in the middle.
Right.
There's physical therapy, there's chiropractic, there's pain management. There's there's lots to do.
Right. And it comes back to I don't know how you would be able to figure that out by looking at just an x-ray.
Oh, you can.
Okay, go to the hospital for anything and they'll do an x-ray, they'll do blood work, they'll do this, they'll do that, they'll do 8 million things just to kind of pinpoint it and bring it closer to where the answers are.
Oh, yeah. And God forbid somebody has chest pain, they have to rule out a lot of things. All right, so they're going to, you go in with chest pain, first thing they're going to do is probably an EKG. I'm sure they're going to do a chest film. If they think it's the heart, they're going to run cardiac enzymes, CKMB, troponin levels. If that all rules out things, then they're going to look, is it gastric? I had to go to an ER once, and I knew it was esophagitis. I was taking, I sort of have a history of esophagitis when I take NSAIDs if I'm for too long, and I had a shoulder injury and I was taking too much because I was in a lot of pain. So I go in the hospital and I said, look, this is what I think it is, but they still ran all the cardiac stuff. Right. And once they put me on an IV of proton pump inhibitor, it's like all of a sudden the pain was gone.
I have this is the question of the year. Are we causing ourselves so much damage now because of cell phones and keeping our heads bent down?
Text neck.
Okay, I mean, it's a lot of, our heads weigh a lot, and they're constantly facing down.
Yeah, when you think about it, what's the head, about 12 to 14 pounds, give or take?
Like a volleyball.
Yeah, pretty much. And, we have a neck that has a gentle forward curve on it. Well, if you're bending it like this, you're just reversing the curve, you're straining the muscles. I mean, I get a lot of business from that.
Is it, I mean...
Especially the kids. I have young kids with neck problems because that's all they do.
Is it, I don't know if the right word, is it fixable?
Well, it's fixable if you stop doing the things that, if you keep doing that, looking down, it's always going to be there. It's just going to get worse and worse. The fix is to avoid doing it. It's like, how do you get, if someone has emphysema and they're smoking cigarettes, they first got to quit. Well, emphysema is too late already. They first got to quit smoking.
Right. And we also live in Florida, which is like the car accident capital of the world. I'm probably one of 3 people in this area that doesn't have a back injury from a car accident. Everybody, because people don't understand, in my opinion, how sensitive our spine is. Our spine, to me, and I'm not a doctor, our spine is a tunnel that carries whatever it carries, and then it shoots out on the exits.
Yeah, the spinal cord and the spinal nerve roots. Yeah, there's 33 pairs, so it's a communication to the brain. I've been in a car accident. I didn't think it was much. I'm sitting waiting to make a left turn, and boom, I get hit from behind while I'm at a stop. And my bumper got dented a little, and I was sore, and I treated for about 2-3 months, thinking, oh, why this isn't going away. Get an MRI. It was a herniated disc, and it wasn't that big a hit. Low impact collisions can really, it's such fast forces. It hits you so quick. It's the
Right.
speed that your head gets jerked back so quickly. There's no way to prevent it.
When you decided to do chiropractic, go to chiropractic, did you get support from your family?
Oh yeah, my parents were always, they were supportive of anything I did as long as I was moving forward. They were education was a big part in our family, and I went to undergraduate school at State University in New York at Buffalo. So I got as far away as I could from home without leaving the state, and and then I did some postgraduate work in Gainesville. I went to UF for a little while, and I went to I can't remember the name of the school. There was a community college there that I went to. I did some courses, and then I went to Life College.
Okay, we're getting to the top of our time. How do people find you? You have a phone number?
Yep, it's 772-335-3222, and I'm there every day except Thursdays and Sundays.
And a website?
Yeah, it's www.drgoldberg, Chiro, DRGOLDBERG, Chiro.com.
Everybody, use a professional. Check them out. Doc, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody, have a great day, and we'll be right back.